Yo guys, Crescent here. Welcome to my non-CP Magicka Templar build video. This build I'm gonna call this build ZapZap mainly because there will be a lot of lightning damage outcoming from this build as a Magicka Templar. So yeah, just a basic ZapZap build will do for this build. Okay, yeah, let's hop straight into the build. The build is really simple. I think a lot of people use this build already like 2 years ago or something like that, but I finally got my hands on the jewelry. So I only started using this build. It's just a really, I would say, a meta build for non-CP campaign. Okay, the monster arm, we are using Scoria. You can use Bone Pirate or Pirate Skeleton, or you can use Bloodspawn. Either if you want defensive setups, you use those two monster arm. If you want offensive like me, go for Scoria. We'll be using light on the shoulder and medium on the head, so both impenetrable. I have a tri-stat glyph on the tri-stat enchantment on the shoulder, and a maximum magicka enchantment on the medium helm. The second set, our defensive set, is 45 press. Obviously you want heavy on the body, because on the chest you want heavy because it gives you the highest armor. So impenetrable heavy with a maximum magicka enchantment on the body. On the waist, on the belt, we'll be using impenetrable as well, light armor. So basically this build is a 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy build. And on the feet, we'll be using light as well. So everything is impenetrable. And the other 2 more pieces of 45 breast I'll be using on the lightning staff and on the ice staff. I'll go through more about the ice staff when I go through the skills, because it's optional. Sword and board is still really good, but ice staff is a bit more offensive. So I'll go through it later. Okay, so that is the second set, 45 breasts. The second set we'll be using, and the third set is overwhelming search set. A really simple set. A lot of Templar use this set in non-CP campaign. It's overall a really nice set, a single target set. So this set, the downside of this set is it hits a random enemy closest to you, so it's quite random. You can't choose the target you want to hit, but the damage is actually quite decent. I am in non-CP campaign now. The damage is about 1.9k every 1 second for 6 seconds. So you times 6, 2k times 6 is about 11k damage, more or less. 11k more or less damage, which is actually quite decent for non-CP campaign. It's around the Scoria territory. Scoria is about 9k, but Scoria has a lower cooldown. So this set has a 6-second cooldown. Every 1 second, do a small dot on your enemy. I'll be using overwhelming search set on the jewelry. So I bought these 2 rings, that's why they are gold. If I didn't buy these rings, I won't be doing this set, because you need to farm this set in one of the dungeons. I can't really remember. Let me check. Overwhelming search, Tempest Island. So you basically need to do Tempest Island. It's a quite long dungeon, but a super easy dungeon. The good thing about this set is there's some the jewelry, I think, are quite easy to obtain, because I don't think a lot of people want to farm this jewelry. It's only for PvP and only for Magicka Templar. This set is good. So I'll be using on the jewelry 1 cost reduction, 1 magicka recovery, and another magicka recovery. Everything is arcane trait. And we'll be using 2 more pieces on the hands and on the legs. Tri-stat glyph on the legs, and hands maximum magicka. Everything on the body, 7 pieces, are all impenetrable. Okay, yeah, so that is for the set. I'll show you the tooltip and the stat sheet really quickly. So just do this, and do this. On the back bar, my resistance is 25k and 34k spell resistance. Let me just kill this thing really quickly. Yeah. Weapon damage is about 2.6k. Spell crit is 30%. Let me just hit this guy again. Yeah, you can see I need to buff up again. Yeah, it's 2.6k, 30% crit. 31k max Magicka, health is 23k, stamina is 13k, which is quite solid. Recovery, let me use a potion. Our recovery is actually, I would say, a bit low, only 1.6k, but you need to remember that Magicka Templar has this skill, Channel Focus. Let me just kill this again. Okay, so Channel Focus will give you about 240 Magicka every 1 second. So that is about, yeah, that is insane. 240 Magicka 1 second. So 2 seconds, that is 480 Magicka recovery. So and if you are like me, you are using Elemental Drain, you get another 300 Magicka every 1 second, that is 600. So all in all, you need to add 1080 Magicka recovery to your base Magicka recovery. So the 1.6k we have, you need to add a 1.1k to it. So it's about 1.6, 1.1, 2.7k Magicka recovery, which is insane actually. The stamina recovery is a bit low, I would say 700, but it's decent. You have your potion, Tri-Step potion. You can, if you don't overblock it, should be enough. Okay, yeah, and resistance, it's really high because we'll be using the breast set. That's why 45 breast set, so that's why your resistance is really high. I'm a Breton, so I have higher spell resistance, but your spell resistance should be around 2.9k or more or less, around that area. Crit resistance is decent as well, 1.8k more or less, and spell penetration is 5k here, 4.9k, but you need to add another 5.2k from your Elemental Drain. We'll be using Elemental Drain, so it's about 10k spell penetration, which is quite nice. What else? I think that's for the stat sheet. I will show you what I'm using, what potions I'm using. The potion I'm using is the basic, where is it? Tri-Step potion. Yeah, this is your main potion. You can use Detection potion as well, fighting against Night Blades, and Invisible potion to get away from Zergs. Only these 3 potions I'll be using for this build. And as for the poison, I'll be using double dot poisons on my lightning staff bar. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, my lightning staff is Sharpen. Sharpen is the best in slot trait, in my opinion, for this patch. You could use Nern. Nern is not that bad as well because you have Major and Minor buff as a Magicka Templar. Major and Minor sorcery buff, which is actually quite decent. But personally I prefer Sharpen, but it's up to you. And the back bar we'll be using weapon damage enchantment with infused trait, so to boost our damage to 2.6k plus. Okay, yeah, double dot poisons, and I'm using the Astronaut Mundus, Recovery Mundus. I'm a stage 4 Vampire, and I'm using Tri-Step Foot. You could drop your Vampirism to stage 2 if you want, but it's totally up to you. Okay, now I'll show you the skills. On the front bar, I'm using Degeneration to get your Major Sorcery. Shock Reach is our CC skill. Puncturing Sweeps is our Jabs, your basic damaging skill, AoE damage skill. Vampire's Bane for you to gain Major Prophecy and Minor Sorcery. So you get crit and extra spell damage from this. This is also a dot, and it's also one of the better snares in this game. 40% 5 seconds, which is quite nice. Purifying Light is your burst skill. And my preferred ultimate is Crescent Sweep because there's a because it's called Crescent. Anyways, yeah, it's my preferred ultimate because it got changed from last patch. It's magical damage now, and the damage is definitely higher than Dawnbreaker. The main reason is because it's really cheap. As a Magicka Templar, you don't have a lot of ways to gain ultimate. The only few ways you can do is you can put Bloodspawn on, so you get a lot more ultimate, and you use your skills from this skill line, Dawn's Wrath skill line, you generate 3 ultimate every 6 seconds. So that is the only way I would say you can generate ultimate, which is actually not a lot compared to like other classes, like Wardens for example. So you don't have major and minor buffs for you to gain ultimate. That's the downside of Templar. That's why I feel like having a Dawnbreaker which costs 120, which is a lot in my opinion, compared to 72 Crescent Sweep. Obviously, Dawnbreaker hits harder on vampires and it stuns as well, and the dot is pretty sweet. But you need to remember, Crescent Sweep has a really sweet dot as well. The dot is decent, okay, unbuffed 2.7k Magicka damage for every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. Not really powerful, but you need to remember from your passive, you will be doing Burning Light, so there's a 25 chance you will do extra 2.9k damage. This passive Burning Light is based on your max stats as well, so when your spell damage is higher, Burning Light hits harder as well. So you need to remember that. That's why this ultimate is actually deceptively really strong in my opinion. People kind of underrate this ultimate. The downside is you don't have a CC skill, and our CC skill is Shock Reach. So that's how I play this build. If you want to use Dawnbreaker, that Dawnbreaker is definitely not bad. You can use Dawnbreaker. Then you could consider dropping Shock Reach if you want. You could use Gap Closer or something like that, up to you. Or you could even maybe put your Elemental Drain on the front bar and use Sword and Board on the back bar, something like that. Okay, you need to remember that depending on your ultimate, what ultimate you're using, you need to switch to your lightning or flame stuff. If you're using AoE ultimate like Dawnbreaker, Meteor, Crescent Sweep, you want to use lightning stuff, because lightning stuff will boost the damage of your AoE abilities and ultimate. If you're using something like what is that skill called? So magic, so assault, you want to use a fire stuff, so you do higher single target damage. So assault is really powerful as well. It will just burn down people, because Soul Assault is a dot. So every time you apply your dots and you put Soul Assault on your enemy, definitely Scoria will proc, and it will boost up the Purifying Light damage. That's why I still think Soul Assault is really powerful, especially in a controlled environment where you know how many people you're fighting. Like in Battleground, Soul Assault is really powerful. You can ensure you get the kill. Okay, so that is for the front bar. On the back bar, you're using Channel Focus, your Cleanse, Extended Ritual, Honor the Dead is your healing skill, Elemental Drain, your debuff skill and gives you minor Magicka skill, Elusive Mist for you to break free from snares and roots, and Remembrance is my preferred ultimate since I'm using Ice Staff. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're using if you want to use Sword and Board, it's definitely not a bad option. You could do something like you take away your Shock Reach, you use Elemental Drain and you use Dawnbreaker, something like that could work. Or you just totally take away Degeneration. You can just use what do you call that? Elemental Drain on Elemental Drain is weapon skill line, destructive stuff. Yeah, you can just take away Degeneration, and if you want to use Shock Reach, you still can use Shock Reach, which is not a bad skill in my opinion. You could do something like this, and on the back bar, you put a defensive skill. Maybe, I don't know, maybe something like Total Dark could work really well. If you want more AoE damage, you could go for Solar Barrage, which is pretty decent. Or if you want, if you still want to obtain Magicka, minor Magicka still, you can use Radiant Aura, the other morph of Restoring Aura morph. So you don't use Repentance, instead you use Radiant Aura. So this is a huge skill, 28 meters. You can see it's just huge. I use it now. You see the throw. It's so far away from me, but it still affects the throw. See this is the distance. It's huge, this AoE. It helps in a group as well. So when you debuff your enemy, your other teammates, especially Magicka users, will get this buff. So it's really nice. So those are the options. Or if you want to block even furthermore, Absorb Magic, or the other morph, defensive stance is always a good ability. And if you're using sword and board, make sure you use spare wall. Spare wall is the way to go. And you could use bats as well if you want to be a bit more flexible, you know. You can use bats. Where is it? Vampire, Devouring Swarm. It's pretty good skill as well, in my opinion. There's one more skill which is quite challenging to use. You could use the Temporal Guard. So it's like a skill where you go back, you restore your resources back to 4 seconds ago and go back to the position where you were. I think this is a really situational skill. I personally don't think it's that good, but if you can make it work, could give it a try as well. And if you don't like to be a vampire, you can use either Channel Acceleration or Race Against Time on your back bar instead of Elusive Mist. But for me, I think Elusive Mist is the way to go because it's really strong. And there's one more skill which is quite good as well. If you are playing in Battlegrounds and you are line of sighting a lot, you can use Deep Thoughts, so you get back resources every 1 second, which is insane. 150 health and 1.8k Magicka and stamina. Insane, this skill. It's really powerful. Always you want to, like, you go Mistform and then you block like your weapon. You go Mistform, you block, you cancel your Mistform, and then you go into this skill at the line of sight, something like that. So that is the way to use that skill. Okay, so those are the skills that I usually use on my Magicka Templar. Yeah, the combos, yeah, it's more or less the same usually. What you want to do, you want to put down your buff. Usually you want to apply all your buff, you put your dot, you put your purifying, you go into one-time jab, or you can CC them, then only go into jab, and then go into ultimate. Just make sure you pump up a lot of damage before your purifying light, and you want to try to CC your enemy before the purifying light proc. So the purifying light will proc every 6 seconds. After you use it 6 seconds, you will proc. So after like 4 or 5 seconds, you want to CC your enemy, so you can like pressure them after the purifying light proc. So that is about it. I got a few gameplay videos ready. I will most likely commentate on those videos in another video, so I won't be posting any gameplay videos on this particular video. But just do check out the upcoming video for the gameplay and the commentary. And yeah, I think that's about it for this build. I won't show you any CP because this is a non-CP build. I don't think this build is good in CP campaign. You could make it work maybe, but I don't think it's that good. It's decent, it's not bad, but it's not top tier in my opinion. And yeah, that's about it. If you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more ESO videos, and yeah, throw this video a like as well. That would be really appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the video. Okay, bye bye.